glaze and underglaze. So the main difference between glaze and underglaze, this one you can see has glaze on it, it's shiny. Typically glaze is shiny, like this one too, glossy looking. And then this one has kind of a matte look, but then it is glossy down here, so there is a combination of underglaze and glaze. Actually, this yellow and this yellow, it's the same, but this one is an underglaze with a clear glaze on top of it. When you think about glaze, glaze is like painting with glass. In the kiln, it melts. Underglaze is like painting with colored clay. And so it has more properties like clay. You can put underglaze on before you fire a piece and after you fire a piece, and then you can fire it again. It's okay now if I painted this one on underglaze, I could now put a clear coat on top of it before firing it too. For your donuts and your other sample pieces, I just want you to do one glaze firing, so to get it prepared today. Okay, so what I would do is think about what colors I need here, and I would put, I want this one brown, this one tannish, tan like dough, and then the sprinkles I want to be yellow and pink. Okay, let's go to the glaze room and find these colors. I'm going into the glaze room. I have a writing utensil. I have my plan right here. I have to check with Miss Graham that it's an okay time to go in. I can't just go in anytime, only at the safe times when the kilns are not firing. This is the kiln room. Here we go. Okay, over here we have our glaze chart that Miss Lay has made, and it's amazing, and we're so lucky. You do notice right away that all the clay is the brown-red clay, so you have to keep that in mind. The color of the glaze will be brighter on the white clay, so think about that. Up here, these are all of our glazes, so all of these are like glass. The ones down here are the underglazes. Each glaze has a number on it, 1402, and notice I'm just looking, I'm not touching anything. We don't want to change the order or break anything, so we just look, no touching. But you see all of them have a number. One thing about the glaze is you have to trust the number. You might see this one is 4009, and then you go find it and it looks like yellow colored, but the number says 4009. This is 4009. When it melts, there's a chemical reaction and it creates this color. So you have to trust the numbers to get the right glaze color. For the underglaze, because it's like clay, the colors are pretty accurate to what it looks like in the bottle. So you can, for underglaze, it's easy to know what color you're working with. With glaze, you have to trust it. Some of these glazes you see there's like spotty, there's different colors in there. Those, they're called CTLs, and that means there's crystals of color in those. And when you're painting, you'll see the little hard crystals, and it's kind of like little pieces of glass. And when it melts, it makes the spots of color. So that's that feature. Okay, so I'm looking at my plan. I know I need a brown that's like a chocolate brown. And I like this one, maybe this one. I see this one has some variation in color, CTL 36. I also noticed, so CTL 36 and it says F. If it says F on here, it means it's food safe. So if you're making a bowl or a coffee cup, this one would be safe to use for food. And there's a mix of them that have food. If they don't have the F and you're making a cup or a coffee, whatever, that you're gonna put food on, only choose the ones with F. Don't use the ones without F. Okay, so I like that one, CTL 36 for brown. So I write it right by my brown, and I know that's one that I need to use. And this is where I'm being kind of a scientist. I'm keeping track of the work that I'm doing and the numbers that I use so I can go back and recreate it later. Glaze, you have to have some flexibility with it, and sometimes there's surprises with how it melts together when it comes out of the kiln. It's always a little exciting. Okay, now for my tan dough color, what color looks good? I think V301. And I'm not taking any pieces off, I'm just looking, and I know that this is an underglaze. I'll make a little note of that. And then yellow and pink, I'm just gonna go ahead and use 2 underglazes here, 1052 for yellow and 1054 for pink. All right, now if you're using the glaze, you have to be responsible and be calm in here, not touching, not banging, not taking things off, and then also in choosing the glaze, choose it in an organized way and return it to the proper place at the end of class. Now I'm going to go find these numbers right over here. We store all of our glazes here in an organized way. Miss Lay or Miss Graham or your teacher can always help you find what you need to find. Some underglazes are right here, so right away I know I need 1052, and here it is. It says 1052 on the bottle, and it written on the top so it's easy to find. It also says the number right here, 1052, so somewhere on here. And I can check the color. I can see it's yellow, but it also says yellow in a few languages right there. So I know that's one that I want. I also want 1054. So I'm looking here, it says 1050 to 1060. This is 1061 to 1073. Here's 1054. Now when I put them away, I'll put them back in the right basket too, because this is the one bottle that everybody in grades 6 through 12 is using. So we have to be responsible when using this. You have to agree to that, being responsible and organized. My last one, oh, I need a V301. So the V's are also underglazes, and they're here in these little containers. And here we have V301. You might go set these down. I know I only have 4 glazes to get, so I'm just gonna get all of them right now. Okay, so my last one that I need, CTL 36. I see here CTL, these are CTL, it's crystal. And I can go right up here. Just one person in this area at a time, and usually Ms. Lay is in here to help, but just in case, we've got CTL 36, able to find it right away. So the number is there. You can also check the number on the side of the bottle to make sure that it lines up there, because it, like this one looks red, but I want it to be brown. And I'm just gonna trust that the number on there is right with the number on here, and I'll fire the right one. Okay, I have the glazes that I need. I can carry 4 in an organized way. I'm gonna go out, sit at my table, work at one place, and I can use a palette to put colors on, or if I'm careful not to cross-contaminate any colors, I'll just use one brush in the glaze. It depends how careful of a worker you are. Okay, let's go glaze. Okay, I'm getting set up here to glaze. I just pulled out a sample tile to show you how to apply the glaze. I want you to think about one thing. If you're using glaze, it melts like glass. If there is glaze on the bottom of your sculpture and you set it in the kiln, when it melts, it's going to seal itself to the kiln shelf. So anytime you are glazing, think about where the glaze is touching your sculpture, where it will touch the kiln shelf. And you can see this one just has straight up clay here, no glaze, and then we would fire it like this in the kiln shelf. Also this one, it's hard to see, but there's no glaze here or here. So no glaze on the bottom of your sculpture, or like your chia pets, no glaze on the bottom where the feet touch the kiln. When you're putting on, so here's an underglaze, we can just take a little underglaze and you can decorate whatever area you want to decorate. And however you put the underglaze on, that's pretty much how it's going to look in the kiln. If I'm putting on the glaze, let's put the cover on here. I'm going to shake this up. This is the glaze because sometimes it separates, the particles sink to the bottom. So you want to make sure it's nice and mixed. You can also mix it with a brush. If it's really dry, you can show your teacher and we can advise if you should add some water to it. But okay, look at this. This color is meant to be brown in the end. So I just have to trust the number, that I got the right number. It's the same number on here. And it will, when it melts, turn the color that it's on the sample tile. So I can just take a little bit of this. I can take it from here. I'm not dipping this into one container and then another container. I only use one at a time. And then I just brush this on where I want the glaze to be. And 2 layers is generally my rule, 1 to 2 layers. You can check on the side and see how many layers it recommends to put on for the glaze. I would say maximum 2, because if you have too much, remember it's like glass, and when it's melting it might drip and stick to the kiln shelf too, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, please keep a neat, organized area while you're working. Be careful with the glazes. Obviously, don't be licking your brush or drinking the glaze. Stay organized and safe.